Hi everybody, it's Marilyn with MKR Creations. Hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this Christmas card. It's a more elegant, glittered, embossed Christmas card. And I'm going to get my supplies and we will get started. So for our supplies, of course, you're going to need a paper cutter. For embossing, you will need some VersaMark embossing ink, an embossing buddy, and embossing powder. I am using gold. You will need some stamps, one for embossing, one for your sentiment inside, plus some ink for your sentiment inside the card. You will need some double-sided tape, some ribbon that will coordinate with your paper. I am using a die cut that is 2 by 3 1/16 inch. It's from Sizzix. This will go around my sentiment. The size of your die cut around your sentiment will vary depending on what sentiment you're using. Again, I have a weeder for my double-sided tape. I have a bone folder for my double-sided tape. I have a piece of gold background paper, and this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. I have some brown cardstock that I'm going to use for the large stamp that goes on the front. And I'm going to use an Ivory ready-made card. You can always use a different colored card depending on what you're using for colors on your cards. I think the Ivory will work better with the gold because it'll be less of a stark contrast between them. If you're able to find a brown card, I don't know if they make those ready-made, but that would work also. Or if you make your own cards, you can make it out of brown to match your brown that you're using in your paper. I'm going to be using a Tim Holtz stamper and stamping platform, and I'm using a Simon Says Stamp Pinecone stamp pad. So I'll get things ready and we'll get started. And of course, we're going to need a heat tool for our embossing, and always art glitter glue. So we're going to take our brown paper and we're going to put it in our stamping buddy, like so. I'm going to check and put this down where we want it, and come down and pick it up. Then we're going to take our embossing buddy and we're going to just go over our paper so that there is no stray items. Especially this helps with keeping down any static cling. It's winter time, so there's a lot more static cling going around out there. So then we're going to take our VersaMark ink and we're going to take the ink to the pad. Make sure we get plenty on there. We don't miss any spots. Then we're going to bring this over and take it down onto our paper. All right. So then We're going to take this off of here. Move this out of the way, and I'll clean the ink off of that later and off the platform. And I'm also going to use my embossing buddy to do my sentiment so we can emboss everything at the same time. And we're going to stamp that. All right. Then when I am pouring embossing powder, I like to put down a piece of paper, a large piece of paper. A lot of times these are from the Stamperia paper pads. They're nice and big. They're 12 by 12, so I can pour my embossing powder on easily and not worry about it getting all over. I tried one of those little things that are supposed to help pour things back in. They look like this. I had a mess with something this big. It did not work for me at all. And I'm also going to pour this right onto here. So we're going to tap this, get any excess off. Okay, we'll set that aside a minute. Then we'll get our Merry Christmas powder on. Tap that. Set that aside. You want to make sure you don't set them on top of each other because you don't want to mark or knock that powder off. Then I had pre-folded this so it can put my powder right back in where it belongs, as it does not take much powder, but you want to make sure that everything gets well covered. So we're going to move that powder out of the way so it does not get hot, because we don't want that to become solid on us. And I'm going to turn on my heat gun. You want to let your heat gun heat up for a while before you put it on your, start embossing your paper, because you want the heat there as little as possible. And you want to make sure the air intake is open, that you don't have your hands over it. And you want to stay about 2 inches or 5 centimeters from your paper and keep your heat gun moving. When stuff starts getting hot enough, it will start changing colors, and you can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I've got the powders getting heated up enough now that it is starting to emboss. That powder is melting, changing colors into that beautiful gold. And you may have to go over spots more than once, because it'll start and be half embossed, but won't change all the way, and you want it to change all the way to that beautiful gold. You also don't, once it is embossed, you don't want to over emboss by staying in a spot that has been done. You don't want it overheated. You don't want to burn it. One thing you want to remember is to always keep the gun moving. Okay, so that one is done. Now we'll do our sentiment that goes on the outside here. Alright, I'll turn the heat gun off. I am going to cut this so that I don't have such a big piece. Now, get our inks and ink pads out of the way. And if you want to emboss the inside greeting, you certainly can do that. I would do that right now so that it is ready to go. Now this piece we cut at 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So the first cut I'm going to make is I'm going to cut off the one edge to make sure that it is a nice even edge going here. Okay, then I want to cut it at, because if you see here, it looks like some of the ink might have missed. I'm not sure, but don't want to take that chance. So this needs to be 5 1/4 across. So we will do that. And then it needs to be 3, oh no, that was wrong. 4 3/4 across. So we're going to cut a little bit more off here. Actually, I think I'm going to cut it off the other side. I think I like this better. So 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. So I think this edge looks better. Though I think I'm going to cut some of this off. And bring this around. We want it to be 3 1/4. I like this side better, so we'll go with that. All right. So now, since we're working with glitter paper, I definitely want to use glue. I don't think my tape will stick to this very well, so I'm going to be using my art glitter glue. And we will get this as centered as best as we can on there. I think I dried a little bit there. If you leave this art glitter glue open for any time at all, that little tip likes to clog up. That's how fast art glitter glue sets up for you. So, you know, a lot of times when you do gluing projects, you have to wait in between times for the glue to dry. It does not take very long with art glitter glue. You can get right back at your project within seconds, and you can keep working without having to have long breaks in between. So we're going to hold that down for a little bit so it has a chance to set up on that glitter paper. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is get my ribbon ready. And we're going to come across here. I want to have plenty to go on the back so that it doesn't come loose. And I'm going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on each side to hold it in place until I am ready to glue it down to the card. And this does not have to be your strong score tape. I have just a generic brand a tape for this because, like I said, it doesn't have to hold it very long. I'm going to be gluing it onto the card. The glue will hold it in place after I do that, so I'm not too worried about it. Again, you still want to burnish it down so that it sticks to your ribbon. And I like to offset my ribbon a little bit. I still want it to go straight across, but I want to offset it so that it's not right in the middle. Then we're gonna take the other end of the tape off. You want to make this ribbon as straight as you possibly can. Bring it around. You want to hold it taut but not too tight because you don't want to buckle your card. All right, so we'll set that aside to dry a little bit, and while that's drying, we're going to cut out our sentiment for the front of the card using our scissors. So we're going to take our plate off. Going to center this around our sentiment as best we can. Put our other plate on, and then we're going to send it through our machine. Alrighty, take that out. That's ready to go. We'll get our scissors out of the way. And here's our sentiment for on the front. You can pop it up if you want to on like pop dots or foam adhesive, or you can lay it flat on there, whatever works for you. If you're mailing it, it might be easier to lay it flat. And we're going to use our glitter glue again. You want to go all the way around the edges, make sure all the edges get glue on them, as well as the center, because this is going to go over top of a ribbon, as well as you want it down adhered to the paper. And just bring this off to the side. Hold it in place so it has time to adhere to that ribbon as well as the embossed paper. Okay, then we're going to take our card that we're going to hook it or attach it to. We're going to put glue on the back here. This is going to help hold that ribbon down, so you want plenty of glue. You want to go all the way down around your edges so that the glitter paper does not stick up at all. Then you want to go through and get your ribbon and the paper in between. And again, you don't want to use too much because you don't want glue, because you don't want to buckle your paper, but you want plenty to hold things in place. Then do your best to center this on your card. Okay. And again, when I do my sentiment, I like to pick up my card, flip it this way so I know I'm going in the right place and the right direction. Take my ink pad to my sentiment. Make sure there's plenty of ink on there. This was a new stamp when I was doing mine, and sometimes new stamps don't ink up as well. They ink up better the more you use them. We're going to hold that in place for a little bit to make sure the dye has a chance to transfer over. All right. Then when everything's good and dry, you can fold it in half. I would fold it and use my bone folder on the opposite side because you don't want to mess up your card. And that is it. There you have an elegant, glittered, embossed Christmas card, and it didn't take you very long at all. So would you please subscribe to my channel? I am going to show you, there will be a bell right there. You hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for how often they will show you all my uploaded videos and notify you of that. Please hit the like button and let me know if you are making your own Christmas cards this year. Happy holidays, everyone.